welcome back to Adorabuild. My name is Ruth and my little dog is called Pucky, and today we are checking out the finished version of my woodland elf shelf, which primarily centres around the characters of Farran and Rosalyn. So let's go take a look at the finished shelf. So here you can see the overall finished shelf with the dragons and the earth fox in place as well. So I will go through each of these sections in a little bit more detail, just so that you can see some of the modifications that I have made to the official set, but also some of the changes that I have made to the terrain overall since you last saw this build. So let's start over this side, and at this very corner you can see that this is where lovely Liska the earth fox is going to be placed. And like with the other dragon areas, I have added in the round 1x1 tiles in a green in order to create almost like a little bit of a mossy look, just so that then our lovely earth fox, it doesn't actually have to sit on the studs. And then a little bit further to the back we do have one of our cook pots, and then we also have Blue Bear and Little Blue hanging out up the back on their little rock area. As you can see overall with the treetop set, I have added in so much more foliage and leaves. I also added in a lot more of those 5-stem leaf pieces in order to create sort of more of those little bunches of flowers. And then within this set, I did try and keep the colours to the dark purple, to the pale lavender, and also the dark pink. So I actually didn't include any magenta leaves across that sort of treetop set. I also really like the way now that both of these sort of like treehouse areas are a lot more hidden. And I think that it's absolutely gorgeous that we can actually just have Farran peeking out from behind that set as well. Obviously I have also added in some trees at the back as well, which does make the playability at the back of this set a lot more difficult because the space of my shelf is actually quite narrow, so it is very condensed. But again, this shelf is for display purposes and not so much around playability. And it's in these trees at the back that I have actually added in more of those magenta leaves. And the other thing that I have also tried to do across all the trees on this shelf is to add in some more of those dark green gems as well, just to almost sort of highlight and start to tie in with the green of Farran's earth crystal, but also to make these trees just that little bit different to the purple trees that we saw in Naida's elf shelf, which was my first elf shelf. I'm also really happy with the foliage that I was able to create at the back over here. So I did put in a couple of different plants to what I have shown you guys in the past over by Roslyn's area, and that's just because I really wanted to create that sort of magical and mystical woodland area. So these flowers and plants are sort of quite unusual looking. The other thing that I am really happy about is how this sort of little stream area has turned out as well. I do really like having the wooden blocks from one side of the stream to the other, and then I also added in a few lime studs underneath some of those lime reeds, just in order to create a little bit more difference of height between some of those reeds, ultimately making it look a lot more natural. So then if we progress over to the middle of the build, you can see that this is where lovely Thorn, the earth dragon, is going to be on display, and I do really like how his little mossy area also turned out. I've also put one of my Farran mini dolls up the back there next to the big crystal area, and I think that that looks absolutely lovely. I know that in my last video I was discussing whether or not to modify the leaves on that tree, which I actually ended up doing so that we do actually have more of that sort of organic slope to the leaves and that beautiful shape. rather than the leaves being so linear and horizontal. Again, I've added in a lot more mushrooms through here and also a little bit more foliage as well, particularly around this side and then also leading down to that stream. The other thing that I'll also point out about the stream is that I have actually used a lot of those glitter tiles that we received in some of the Dots sets. And I think that that just looks so much more magical for an Elven Dale area. So I may even try and add some more of those glitter tiles over to Naida's water elf shelf in order to make that sort of tie-in with this as well. I just think the glitter adds something a little bit more magical and beautiful. So the last third of this shelf primarily features Rosalyn's Healing Hideout, which I just think is such a beautiful build. And for those of you who have watched the previous videos of this elf shelf, will know that this particular Healing Hideout is actually 2 sets joined together in the middle. And I just think that that looks absolutely lovely to have this beautiful big round navy tree trunk as part of the Healing Hideout. You can also see that this particular play feature here has remained the same with these branches that can move in and out, but I have added in a lot more leaves around this side as well. And then I actually removed these branches from the back because of this additional tree, and I actually included them up here. And I do actually really like the look of these additional branches surrounding the first floor of the Healing Hideout as well. And again, most of the detail in this section was where I actually started creating this shelf and adding in the foliage. So it does look really beautiful and lush, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Of course, we do have beautiful Sapphire the Dragon, who is actually in this particular area of the shelf. And then I've also added in a lot more of these lime green floral pieces as well. I just think that that sort of lime really set off with the navy blue and also the beautiful purple flowers as well. And you can see here that the leaves that I've used on Rosalyn's Healing Hideout are primarily dark purple and also the magenta as well. So not actually using any of the dark pink or the lavender. However, those colours are actually featured in the tree behind here. The other little area that I think is really sweet in this area is this back section here. So again, we've got some more features from one of the other sets, but we also have one of the little goblins here as well, which I think is really cute. The other thing that I'm really happy with is also the pumpkin patch in here as well. I have been able to get another one of those beautiful large pumpkins. However, I would like one more here as well. So there are probably a few little changes that will be made to this set as other parts start to arrive, but overall this is completely finished. So now that you've seen a lot of the details spoken about on my dining room table, which is where I film my Lego videos, let's go and take a look at this shelf in place in my bookcase, so then you can actually see what it looks like while it's on display in its final home. I do really hope that you have enjoyed seeing the development of this elf shelf and all the little details and modifications that I've made to these sets in order to display them on my bookcase. Obviously, we have now finished this shelf, so we do have to move on to our next elf shelf. So I wonder who that's going to be and what shelf that's actually going to represent. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any preferences as to where you would like to see this elf shelf series go next. As always, I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. I absolutely love talking to you all about Lego, and I just have so much fun engaging with you all and getting to know your love and joy of Lego. Until my next video, take care of yourselves and bye bye!